Anyway, so now that we've got that done, hi, welcome to the Deltahead stream. I am James Howell, and we're doing Resident Evil 4 Remake. And now with actual commentary that can be heard. Let's see, which audio? There's like two audio sources here, and I don't want to disable the one that's relevant. But one of them, if it's not relevant, it's gonna just create a bunch of gunk. Well, they're both the same thing, so whatever. Yeah, I heard that Mercenaries just came out. It's very exciting. I remember on the GameCube version, completely 4-starring Mercenaries, and I'm looking forward to doing that on this one. Even though I have limited time these days for game playing, I expect giving RE4 Remake similar doting attention that I've given its predecessor. I own Resident Evil 4 2005 release version on GameCube. I got the demo before it came out, and I played the GameCube version to death. As a matter of fact, I played the GameCube version so many times that I had a full attaché case that was entirely full of the Magnum and Magnum rounds, and I think you get like 15 Magnum rounds dropped over the course of the entire game. And so that should give you an idea how many times I played through that one. And I also have it on PlayStation 2, on Wii, on PC, on PlayStation 4. It is a lot of Magnum. My intention was to have a playthrough not unlike the hand cannon, but with a Magnum, so you had limited ammo instead of the hand cannon's infinite. But yeah, so I played this a lot, and it's really clear that RE4 Remake is made with loving attention to the detail of the original's design. There are a lot of surprises there if you have the game mapped in your head, as somebody who has played it nearly obsessively does. You will see several things that seem almost to be addressed to you. As in, like, oh, we know you're expecting to do this one small thing, but here's a change to show that that's not the way it is. There are rooms and layouts that are remixes of layouts that show up in the original, and especially on the island. And it's really cool. This is both a remake and a love letter to the original, rather than necessarily a replacement of, which is what I kind of get the feeling that Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes are. They feel a bit like replacements, about modern day replacements. Yeah, so I am really happy to be playing this on stream. I beat Hardcore last night. That was my first playthrough. So rather than do a professional run, which would be a totally new save file, I learned from streaming Resident Evil Village on Village of Shadows difficulty that it is entirely possible while streaming a game to get hooked on one of those moments that kind of just that make you grind your teeth and figure and ask, like, how the hell am I supposed to beat this? The kind of thing that, playing solo, you regroup, think about it, sleep on it, and then come up with a better way of doing it. But beating the Fishman boss on stream on Village of Shadows, was not a fan of that. So in the interest of avoiding doing something like that again, probably on the cabin, where I'm going to die many times on professional, rather than do that, we're gonna go through and have a good time on Hardcore New Game Plus. And probably going to sell and replace some of my my favorites, so that could be a little fresh to me as well. But that all said, we can go ahead and get this started. Oh, and I got this recently. Steel Chair to the Head: the pleasure and pain of professional wrestling. This is really good. There's a lot of anthropology of pro wrestling in there, and it is a delight. Let's see. Oh, let me make sure that the audio from the game is on. Yes, it is. Cool. All right. Yeah, pro wrestling has always been there, kind of in my background, and I haven't really given it its due attention. And now that I am, I'm finding that there is there is much to it that aligns with my aesthetics and my goals. I've often said that style is substance, and pro wrestling takes that and makes it its cornerstone. Oh my. This is quite loud in my headphones. I wonder if there's a way I can change that. Alright. Gonna have to do something here for the sake of my own ears. Now tell me if the volume on the stream is too low for this. Let's see. Playthrough 1, new playthrough hardcore. Yeah, here we go. Oh, before we do this, first off, can you tell me how the audio balance is? We're gonna load up this save here. Alright. Here we go. I know what that's about. So, let's increase this. Yeah. Cool. No, I have a new TV here, so I have headphones plugged up to it. I can't control the volume of the TV through the headphones with the TV itself, so I had to adjust the in-game volume, which drops the volume for you, so I had to raise it in the stream profile anyway. Yeah, let's see. How's that sound? Alright, so I'm going to show you a let's reload this. So the room in the castle with the bridge that gets forcibly lowered was very difficult for me. The challenge there is that you are swarmed with cult members, and there's one of the red guys who will randomly make their also good evening Dustin, that will make their heads sort of pop and the plagas come out. There is a speedrun trick to throw a grenade into the balcony where that lever is pulled so you can skip the whole process. And I have a version of that is not as speedrun savvy, but I think is far more entertaining, so I'm going to show you that. I think, yes, it does mean you're RE4 Pro. And also, so I've been meaning to do like a little video about this because I find it very entertaining, and I just don't have the time to do those sorts of tutorials anymore. And also, frankly, on a game like this, I'm not quite the expert that I am on like Metal Gear, so I think it would be more a novelty than something that somebody would use seriously. So yeah, so I'm probably just gonna clip this and throw it up on my game criticism channel. So for anybody who is watching that version, or that clip of it, I stream on the Deltahead Media channel on Twitch, so swing on by if you are a subscriber to that channel, which is far more, far better attended than the stream. But so, here's the deal. Is this that? Oh no, wait, sorry. The deal is upstairs. Yeah, I've been uploading first times through Resident Evil 4 up on that channel, and noticed that I lost 10 subscribers since doing that. So it's funny. Like, I reminded people that I existed, and they're like, "Oh no, thank you." I think that's great. All right, so here's the deal. So let's see. There's that lever right there. cult member comes out from behind here, pulls that lever.
Okay, you good?
No problem.
This bridge drops, and all hell breaks loose. So what I do is this: I get my mine thrower out, and you see this sort of like rectangular, soft cornered rectangle here. So in the lower right quadrant of that, kind of like directly above where the lever is, I fire a bunch of mines. And it's a little iffy as to exactly what effect this is going to have, but when it has the right one, it's very interesting. I think I'm still good. Alright, let's see if this works. Well, so that's one way to do it. Those guys right here, they spawn. I don't think they exist prior to running halfway down the hallway. So you can throw the mines there, and it will blow up as soon as they spawn. And that's one way to stop him from lowering the bridge. However, you still have the cult guy there with the little jangly thing that makes everybody's heads explode, and the evil within spew forth. So we're gonna try it again, because what it does is it's kind of buggy, the thing that I'm trying to do, and I think it's very fun. And it also stands a chance of really killing that the red cult guy outright. All right. Oh no, that's not the outcome I want. Alright, so I didn't... one of them was not close enough to the spawn point. So... its unreliability is probably a mark against it as a viable speedrun strategy as well. That one might be a little too close. Oh man, this is definitely okay. I think I need to fire them lower and also cluster them better. So let's try, yeah. Oh, okay. Let's do this again. Maybe I need to land them higher? I swear I was able to do this consistently, like a week ago. Oh man, wonder if it was a one-time thing particular to the way that setup was. We're trying this a couple more times, and if it doesn't work, then this will definitely not go up on the YouTubes. See, going kind of close to the outer edge. That might be too close, but we'll see. Oh, Dustin, this is an amazing weapon. This was my this was one of my MVPs for my first playthrough. The mine thrower with the mines. I only wish that they had not mapped the mine loading button to L3. When I get into a tense situation, I kind of get a death grip on my controller, and wind up pressing the L3 and R3 buttons by accident all the time. So now watch. So, that did it. It's like when the... Okay, so when the explosion happens when the guy spawns, it's like it freezes the explosive vector, or whatever you want to call it, in place. So when the cinematic moment ends, and then control of the situation and the game returns to a playable state, that explosion also hits and staggers the red cult guy. If you'll notice from when I did it before and the guy just blew up without cutting to the cinematic, it still took a lot of hits to take down the red cult guy, and there it just takes 5. So he actually does absorb all of that damage. And it's really, I think it's really neat, just from like a buggy QA thing, because apparently there's something about the explosion happening on that edge case. The explosion happening not just when an enemy spawns, but when the enemy spawns at the start of a not even a cutscene, because it's not sort of scripted, but one of those sort of like one of those moments where you know, it's not in a playable state. So yeah, so that's really cool, and that's what I found, and that is how I got through this area. And try to see if I can do it one more time, just to see if I can get. There's another variation of that. And let's see if I can get it. That might be a little too close. That's definitely too close. Oh, here. Yeah, there we go. So, so that's the second variation, where the explosion happens as soon as the guy with the golden helmet appears, kills him, but you still have a few mines that are just off-center enough that they were not caught in that initial explosion. So the game still registers them as existing. So the cult guy gets hit by both the ghost explosions and also by the real explosions that trigger, because now he is now he is a living thing within the activation field of the mines. So yeah, so that's cool, and it also enables you to have a good time.
Back up. Okay.
With these guys coming down the row. Just, you know, have a good high penetration weapon.
Spread out. On me. Okay. Stay back. Got it.
Oh.
Okay. Shit.
And so that's pretty easy Ashley steal to recover from.
Give me a break already.
So yeah, so that's fun. But now we can load up our New Game Plus. Oh, weird. Okay, baffling. It's also coming through the TV. God, I don't understand this new TV that well. Well, whatever. If that's the case, then I'm not going to worry about the headphones and just play it clean like this. Or maybe I can treat myself and have high-quality audio. What do I do?
1998. It's a day I'll never forget. The cop inside me died that day. That night, Raccoon City was wiped out, thanks to the bioweapons created by Umbrella. Somehow I made it out.
It is neat to see, so, you know, RE2 and RE4, the original releases, I like how lanky Leon is here.
Government program. Not that I had
Lanky and boyish compared to the protagonist we play.
Missions. Nearly killed me.
And anyway, so Resident Evil 2, PlayStation 1, and then Resident Evil 4, GameCube. Very different hardwares, a lot of time between the two of them. So Leon looks very different. And so it's cool in this to see there's like a through line in his design from Resident Evil 2 to Resident Evil 4. So you can actually see him change and sort of having grown up and become a little more tired and world weary, as opposed to you know, you just sort of shrug your shoulders when you see 2005 RE4 Leon and go, yeah, he doesn't look like he's like 5 polygons anymore.
As close to nowhere that I've ever seen.
Looking for someone.
OG had more of a state of the world. This is the way things are now. Umbrella is kaput. Sort of, I think Umbrella was kaput in that. Anyway, it sort of is a lore update more than about Leon. This game makes this much more about him. And I think the intro is interesting because I don't think the ending really pays it off that well. You don't really get a sense that his, it'll turn out differently this time. It has to. You don't really get a sense that that has the weight that, that carries that sentiment through the whole game. And I think that's a little bit of a missed opportunity. I don't think Resident Evil characters need to be that deep, but it is nice to see a setup get paid off.
I think this is it.
I do like that the cops are a bit more likable and less,
I'll be right back.
less sort of like the sort of like provincial, we're going to be a jerk to the outsider federal agent sort of dynamic that the original cops had. So they're a little more sympathetic. You feel a little worse for them when they get killed, but they're still kind of aloof in a way that they're not taking this very seriously, and they still think Leon is somebody to babysit. So I think that's neat.
Vaya sitio más tétrico. Hey, ¿hay alguien ahí?
Like, you kind of get the sense that this guy is like doing his job. Here's the way that he walks here. Like, watch like the length of his footsteps. Like, and I kind of find myself wondering if that's because like they mocap that in a space without a whole lot of room to walk. Because I've noticed that in a lot of cinematics across just many different games, that those sort of baby steps are how people traverse open spaces, and I don't think anybody walks like that.
Maybe you better go and take a look. towards the car. Wouldn't want to get a parking ticket.
Yeah, this guy's smart. I mean, you don't feel super bad about him, you know, losing him from the story. The other guy, though, well, he was decent enough. Like, last day before retirement. This is better than sitting behind a desk kind of setup for him in his career. I'm curious, Space Hamlet, what control scheme did you use when you played through? And what control apparatus, like keyboard or
How far could he have gone?
Controller? I do like that Leon comments on the smell here. You don't get a whole lot of that in a lot of these things, in a lot of games like this. In fact, I actually think that it would be very neat if he commented upon the smell when he was actually in this sort of enclosed, these enclosed areas inside this house with clearly a lot of gristle and blood around. Because one would assume that in an enclosed space where it's really smoky and very hot, that these smells would sort of, you know, the putrescence would come through. Oh, gotcha. I found that playing on the DualSense is very gratifying. That's interesting. I've never been able to play comfortably with a mouse and a keyboard. That has made me not an ideal PC player. I need the organic feel of a two-handed controller.
Anyone home?
That's interesting. Wonder what the that little spike that's on the upper right of the Los Illuminados symbol. I don't think that shows up in a lot of other ones. I kind of wonder if that was like, in my mind, that is a little, you know, like a tick, like they killed the police officer, so they're adding that to the tree. Does it? It's interesting. Now I have gained a repetitive motion injury in my right hand from just so many years of using a computer, playing music, and having my wrist bent and my fingers sort of cradled like that. That playing with a mouse is very uncomfortable to the point of being painful and aggravating an injury. So this I can do though. This is the claw shape that my hand has learned to live in and is now comfortable in. Also, I have a death grip on pens. And now my handwriting has changed significantly.
Sorry to barge in like this.
That's interesting. Yeah, Space Hamlet, I can see that. But Ashley sort of carrying that forward to the end. Interesting. So, Dustin, are you, for that playthrough, is the S-Rank time-based in classic Resident Evil fashion? Shogi explained! Holy crap! Good to see you! How are you? Yeah, it's been forever. Yeah.
This is not good.
Yeah, Ashley... It's interesting. They empowered her character more by showing her growing in confidence and the meaning of her relationship to Leon is sort of guided by her desire to feel relevant, to feel competent, and not just like a, you know, coddled VIP daughter. So it's interesting to see her reach a point where her resolution is to, you know, become an agent of some sort, like like Leon is. So I think that that's an interesting direction to take her. Is more interesting than the sort of perpetual damsel in distress that the original Ashley was. With that said, the original Ashley felt less damselly and more sort of like kid sister to Leon. So it's in neither version do you ever really get the sense that there's any sort of like romantic interest relationship played up between the two of them, and I quite like that. I find the kid sister dynamic and the want to be recognized as a peer dynamic far more interesting.
What was that?
Evening, Squimmy. It's good to see you. New game plus. Oh, I see. So yeah, I want to get my goal is to get an S+ rank on professional. What does my attaché case look like? Yeah, this is the state of my attaché case at the end of the last game. So in my head canon, that conversation that Leon has, the strong fatherly hand on the shoulder, go find my daughter, from the president. In my head canon, the game cinematic cut away before another very important command was given to Leon. Leon, I want you to go to Europe and bring me back one Spanish fish, uneaten. And he's very clear on that. And in this world, this is also a world where Metal Gear Solid 3 exists, and presidents have handed down the lore of a secret agent that went abroad and accomplished great feats and ate a great many fish, but none that they could themselves eat. And this time it's going to be different. So the president commands Leon to bring me back one uneaten fish, and he's very clear on uneaten as a criterion. And so I will have you know that I am the excellent S+ agent. Being the S+ agent that I am, I brought the president back 2 bass. 2 bass. 2 basses. So I'm the real Leon Kennedy. Well, I mean, you know, they did make Sherry Birkin a protagonist in RE6, and I thought that was fine, and as a way of bringing her character back. So I think that something similar could be done with Ashley as effectively. I mean, some people don't think well of RE6. I think it's a great game. Under 5.5 hours. That's interesting. Yeah, that's classic. That's some classic RE. Criteria right there. I mean, at least modern Resident Evils don't penalize you for you know, using first aid sprays, which I remember counted against your score in the older ones. Oh, that's fantastic! I mean, if there's any time sink that you want to pay off, it's Perforce documentation, right? I recently was looking at a lot of that stuff again myself, and I'm like, oh my god, this is stuff that I only want to know as long as I have to, but it is much more up your alley, so I'm glad that that's paid off for you.
No fucking way.
Wow.
This just keeps getting worse.
That gun makes that encounter a lot easier. Well, congratulations on getting the job. That's a huge relief, and I'm really glad that some place is going to benefit from your expertise and ability. Shogi Explain and I worked together at a game studio some time back, and he's excellent at what he does. Yeah, Dustin, getting caught in the cabin with those resources, definitely not where you want to end up. So, I only appreciated on seeing the cutscene where that woman was sacrificed this time through, that they were playing up the similarity to Ashley to make you think that like something had happened to Ashley, that was a failure on Leon's part.
Our intel was correct.
And I appreciate sort of like a sense of raising the stakes and giving a sense that the horror is more real this time through than in the 2005 game. But
Something's happened to people here.
I also felt like something about the hiker maybe could have been paid off a little bit more. I don't know.
Gotta go. Talk later.
Resident Evil 4 in general isn't about sort of paying off setup with, you know, gravitas or something that is emotionally heavy. So it's not a real expectation of the game, but it's just something that runs through my mind. I see. What? Oh, I guess Merchant shows up here.
Welcome.
New Game Plus.
Something new.
I like how the Merchant is just in on the meta aspect of like, well, you're playing through this again. What do you have for me, my friend? Infinite rocket launcher. 2 million pesetas.
All my wares are in tip-top shape.
I want the Killer 7 this playthrough. So I am going to sell the Broken Butterfly.
Thank you.
And I want this.
Honestly, this might be the only gun you need.
Because I am very happy to see Killer 7 existing, even in reference this far down Capcom's timeline.
That cash in your pocket all your life.
Yeah, well, that's Kaede Smith's weapon of choice, a scoped Magnum. Let's see, tune up. Oh yeah, get that back.
That the care it deserves, mate. We're starting to get an idea.
Wow, that's
of your tastes, friend.
hefty upgrade. I guess I didn't upgrade the Magnum that much, so that's fine.
Dazzled.
I will definitely favor a higher rate of fire on a Magnum than reload speed. I just assume that that's going to be a time sink, and reloading a Magnum in a fight is just a bad idea overall.
If you want a fighting chance, come back.
Merchant's really chatty in this one. A laser sight. The laser sight? Is that a laser sight mounted on top? I thought it was a scope. I mean, I know it's a scope in the game Killer 7. Let's see. Oh wait, let me assign that too. Yeah, it's a laser sight. Weird. Was it a laser sight in the original, or did you get a scope there too? Want to upgrade Krauser's knife all the way. I was skeptical that the 1.5 speed boost on Leon's knife would feel like a real difference, but it really does, and it also helped in Krauser's fight a lot too, because you can take advantage of those moments of vulnerability. To damage him more. I like the fake out here because I think in this approach is where they seed the dog, where they let Leon free the dog from a bear trap, and having a dead dog in a bear trap here, you know, one of the most heartwarming moments that lets you know that, you know, Leon's a good guy. He saves the kidnapped and frees animals. And for that animal to already be dead is a very brings the mood more in line with where RE4 wants to be than giving Leon a save the cat moment right out of the gate. Wait, the dog, is that in this one or in the original? Where are you at, fella? There you are. That guy jumped down yet? No, there he is. Huh, I didn't know that you could kill him right up there. Let's see what happens. He sprouts when his head goes... Does he still slide down? Oh, weird, he still has that slide down animation. I'm sorry, Shogi. Well, good news is the next doggo that you see is definitely alive and is your BFF. I'm glad, as impractical as it is, that Leon would not take any damage from stepping straight into a damn rusted bear trap. I'm glad that it doesn't punish me that much for doing so. I don't think you could actually die from it in the original game. I think it just brought your HP down to 1 if you were really that low. Wait a minute, so is success in the Del Lago fight dependent on does that depend on doing just a ton of damage in a single run before it goes underneath your boat? Bonk. Okay. Well, I guess the scope, the mounted scope is just a Coyote Smith special then, huh? Alright, so if it doesn't refill fully, that means that it's, oh, I like this little detail here of the the head sort of dropping unceremoniously, and then is not given any, it's not a focus of attention. You just pass right on through. Wait, did I pass my... Yeah, I did. I like how they utilize the scope a lot more in this one. If you remember from the RE4 demo stream, Leon's scope was available at any moment during the village section. So and then they really dialed that back to where they only kept moments where the scope was cinematically necessary. So here and at the Del Lago fight, that's what made it into the final game. So I like that they found a kind of a middle ground where they found more cinematic uses for it, and it made you feel like you're actually doing reconnaissance without doing the weird thing and making it seem as though there's something strategically important about looking ahead everywhere. Did I get a scene? Oh, interesting. I'm pretty sure Coyotes is supposed to be a Magnum.
Here we go.
This is straight up a bad place to get stuck. Like, you really can screw yourself over with bad positioning in this one. Much more so than in the original. Is this guy behind me? Ugh, those eyes. Ah, he is behind me. Woohoo! Holy crap. Let's see. Ah! No, 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 no! I am innocent! Oh no! I didn't know that the cow could just the thing would just randomly drop without you actually attacking it. Interesting. I find it really interesting how this game rewards you for like hurting animals. You don't find many games that do that unless the animal is something that is sort of like agreed upon repugnant and unlikable, like a fantasy animal or something. This game has like a lot of like morally ambiguous, like questionable things that make sense in video game context, but you know, Leon was attacked by... So Leon's been attacked by 4 or 5 people, but he has no idea who these people are in this village, and now it's a-okay to just like start slitting throats of the locals. All right, let's try this again.
Here we go.
Ah! Woo!
One down.
Chickens will attack you too. Chickens are not screwing around. I once died because of a chicken in a previous playthrough. Because it staggered me in time for an enemy to reach me. Woo! Yeah, I guess that's true. It's still I don't know. It does still seem weird that like lethal force is the way to go. Just from an international incident standpoint. Yeah. Obviously, there's the fighting for your life justification, which is the ultimate A-OK to for violence. For good guys in games. I like how these folks who are in this room are just sort of sitting down and hanging out. When I broke into that room the first time on my first playthrough, I was very surprised to see them sitting there and just chilling out.
You gotta be kidding me.
Like, I know the original game so well that when that ladder breaks through the window, I just hear in my head, "Son of a," which is Leon's line.
Keep coming.
Woo! Wow. What do I have to craft with here? Can I make any bolts? I cannot. Alright, let's see. This was always my safe spot in the OG for this section. I'm actually surprised it's over that quickly. It seems like it should draw on longer. Well, that's the thing, is like it's like guilt by association.
Tenemos que servir. Al Lord Sander Todopoderoso.
However implausible it might seem that Leon would just be chill, like having these guys walk within like shoulder distance of him and not freak out and try to kill them, because I did just kill somebody who was sweeping without them knowing I was there. The how would I describe it? The shift
Where's everyone going?
from that tense activity to that sort of calm community, which I think is reinforced by how Leon doesn't attack them as they're walking by, is very compelling, I think. Oh yeah, I think you can shoot the bell in the distance.
Windmill. Copy that.
Oh, hey, the shotgun's gone. Right, because I can't sell 2 of them. That's interesting. I can see somebody fishing for it with a handgun and possibly hitting it. I mean, in most other areas, you can you can snipe with a handgun. So I can see them wanting to make sure that you don't nope out of the challenge. All right, let me get the. I like professional or something. Pretty sure it's here. Ah, well, whatever. Alright, let's get some supplies. Yeah, I thought that the bell, it never, I never connected that the bell that rings that summons them is the bell at the church where Ashley's being held. I just assumed it was part of the building that they walk into. Aw, I'm sorry, cow friend.
These people are sick.
Yeah, there's just all this uncured meat hanging up everywhere. This place has got to smell horrible. See, is there anything to get up here? You're exactly right, Shogi. I went back to South Carolina to visit family earlier this year, and just on a whim to break my own heart, decided to look at how much it would cost to buy a house the size of the one that I live in, that I rent, and then compare it to the value of the property here, and it's staggering. It is the same basic structure costs about 5 times as much here as it does back home. And, you know, of course, the obvious reason for that is that there's more going on for a lot of people who have money in Seattle than there is in Washington, than there is in South Carolina. Nonetheless, it does make me... It does remind me of this Onion article that I saw, that, what is it? 5 million people, 5 million New York City residents realize that New York City is a horrible place to live simultaneously. And it's just funny, it's like this awakening of everybody who lives in New York City that it sucks. And one of the things that it brings up is the cost of living. And somebody was like, yeah, I realize that for the rent that I'm paying to live in like a 1-room sort of basement apartment, I could have like a whole house to myself in Virginia. A whole house, and you feel that.
No good.
I mean, I guess it depends on where in Virginia. Can I sneak through here? Viable? I don't think I've ever snuck through here before. I love how these requests. I like how like the tone of the merchant. Like there, somewhere in the merchant there is the indignant HOA member, and so these blue medallions are just are coming from that part of his personality. I'm gonna leave that there for Bullman. Good lord. Cost of living here is crazy. It really, looking at the if it weren't for certain connections, certain social connections here, and certain and the fact that this is like a great place for my line of work, my soul searching for whether or not to continue living here would be much much deeper. So here, I like these. I like these being out in the open and not in the vials. I feel like it probably gives the attaché case a mint flavor. What else can I build? I can build flash grenades. That's not a bad idea. Get rid of some of that, those large supplies. The summer house. Yeah, so I could have... yeah, I like that idea. So I would have a house in the south that I owned and paid less on than a house that I rent in Seattle, so I could have a summer home that I could make it sound like I'm big fancy rich, when in reality I am just like paying a fraction of the amount of money that it costs to live here to have a backup somewhere else. I have I mean, I have entertained the idea of finding like an Airbnb to go to when smoke season hits. What if that counts as being noticed? Yeah, I think it does. Bye-bye.
Break already. Next.
Likewise, I'm not a fan of it. Oh, well, that was actually a really good shot. See, that's your spleen. Ah, that was not a parry. I did not parry that successfully. There we go. I've noticed a few enemies that they do have that sort of like dragging it out, crawling on the ground animation, and I wonder if that's supposed to, if that's intended to make me feel pity for them. That's true. My collarbone is an effective parrying implement. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, yeah, that's nice. So I am missing a gear here.
Fix everything myself.
And I'm guessing that is down... Is it down over here? Is it in that thing? Probably is. I'm a little disappointed at how... No, that's not it. How much easier this is on the New Game Plus. It's takes a little bit of the fun out of it. So I think what I want to do is sell my weapons, trade them in for something that is less upgraded. I think it could stand to be a little harder. I like how in the remake, you know, there's some areas that are completely done over, but in areas like this, many of my little personal routines, my personal routes that I take as I've played through the 2005 one are still there. And it's very cool. And let's remember to duck underneath this. This is the future site of much grief. I like how the barrels in this are just a button press, so Leon can have a barrel-destroying kick. Oh wow! I approached that super cautiously the first time through and did not know that you could even evade it. Ah, Jesus! Anybody behind me? Nope. 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 Ah, no, 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 no. Seems like a lot of things happening at once there. Wow, friendly fire is not an issue for them, is it? You could parry them off edges, off ledges. That's pretty cool. Oh, ho, 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 ho. I wonder... So, I remember if you went onto a dock and just fired your gun indiscriminately, that would trigger Del Lago to come and gobble you up. And I wonder if I can get an autosave here.
This the place?
There we go. So let's try that. Let's see if that's the case here as well. Huh. Maybe later then. Maybe like when I'm right close to the fight. I admire the confidence with which Leon just cavalierly flicks off the tripwire. I would think that that kind of force would be exactly what the tripwire is intended to detect, and would therefore create an explosion, but no. I think this was a pretty good fake out. Something over here, was there? Yeah.
That hurts, you know? Seemed like you really wanted to talk. How observant, senor. Now, say, you got a smoke? I know those things will kill you. Oh, well, maybe just untie me then, huh? Joder, not this guy!
Who are you? Okay, stop right there.
Something that Lewis has redesigned that I think is interesting is, oh, actually, before I say that, so I think this is neat because rather than knocking Leon out and then transporting him to some place that looks like it should be on the island, and then Sadler saying we're going to give you our power, they just inject him with it right there and then. It makes so much more sense, and is even a little more insidious for how low-key it is compared to a whole thing where Leon gets brought before Sadler, of all people. There we go, next. But yeah, Luis's and Ashley's redesigns, they're interesting. So yeah, so you still get a glimpse of Sadler, but Sadler's talking to you through the Plagas rather than being there in a cutscene right beside Leon. But yeah, it's like with Luis and Ashley, you can tell that they were designed after kind of like heartthrobs of the time. So Ashley's got kind of looks like Britney Spears, Luis kind of looks like Johnny Depp, and there are those sort of influences there. And the redesigns are compelling, because I don't think they look like anybody.
Beat up enough cities. I can see you're thinking. Bet you've been in spots like this before, huh? I guess. You're here looking for someone? One more guess. Maybe some missing señorita?
Young girl? Talk. Now.
I think the pivot in Leon's personality from the RE2 cop, I'm here to help people, kind of boyishness to this kind of thing, where he's willing to like just be a real jerk to Luis, is interesting.
Hey, we're not done here!
Later, amigo.
It's interesting how they changed the buddy dynamic of the original to less that.
Condor One to roost. I've located Baby Eagle. It sounds like she's being kept in some church. I heard it from this guy I met. He said his name is Luis Serra. There's something fishy about him. I need you to run a background check. Right. I'm probably due for confession anyway. Condor One, out.
Makes me wonder, is Leon Catholic? I don't think many Protestants would associate a church with confession. Given how familiar Leon is with murderous, infectious persons communicating that through bites, I would be really, I'm really surprised he's okay just like covering their mouths with his hand to silence them. If I were in his position, I would view that as risky.
Out of the way.
Thanks, Space Hamlet. It's always good to see you. I'll see you hopefully next week on stream on Wednesday, because I should be a-okay to do the normal time next week. So have a good night. Does he see me? Evening, Ren. It's good to meet you. Yeah, no, the muscle memory, that is it. So this is like the second game in recent memory where a character has been introduced as having rookie status in one game and then being given elite training between the events of the next one. I'm thinking in RE7 where Ethan is sort of a bystander who happens to know about guns, versus you know, having the elite training from Chris that gives him his ability in RE8. So yeah, it's an interesting way of well, maybe not interesting, but it is a time-tested way of turning your everyman into a badass. How are you, Ren? And I can finally make some bolts?
I'll be taking these back.
I can finally make some bolts. Yes. And some mines. And more bolts. Oh no, I need more large supplies. So that's a lot of stuff I have there. Let's consolidate some of my suitcase fresheners. Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad that you are here. Yeah, I've been doing this for a couple of years now. I put an advertisement out on my my old personal channel that I do this, and I'm sort of bad at the kind of promotion that makes an influencer successful, which is not. I'm not an I mean, you know, content creator. That's it. I don't know what these things are, but yeah. So I'm not the I don't have the promotional impulse to spread it as widely as I might. So I'm glad you found me, is what I'm saying.
Who's that?
Let's do some business. Welcome. Got some rare things.
All right,
on sale,
so
stranger.
let's see. I don't need that. Get rid of those.
Ruby's all rubbish. It makes no difference. The price, thank you.
I would like to go through this game using the red 9.
What you see is what I've got.
Aw, shucks. Thank you. It means a lot. Especially coming from you, because you're super knowledgeable. Alright, Punisher. We've had a good run.
I'll buy. Thank you.
But gonna go red 9 this one through.
A choice of
Red 9 is my staple go-to in the 2005 Resident Evil 4.
nice gun, stranger.
So, and I am going to tune it up.
If you want a fight in crossing your T's, dotting your I's, that's the way to be. We're starting to get an idea of your tastes, friend.
I don't want to max it out because I still want a bit of a challenge. Also, I want this knife.
Try that on for size. Well then, what can I do you for? Come.
Let's get this treasure in good shape. We can sell this.
Back and welcome. A deal well struck. Dazzled, are you?
Interesting. So it looks like Leon's knife is better for defense, and Krauser's knife is going to be better for offense.
Knife needs care.
So that's the
could be the difference between life
that's
and
the
death.
line they're drawing
That'd be
between
all,
them.
then. If you want a fighting chance out there, you best tune up your kit.
Oh wow, you can just get all this stuff right out of the gate.
How have we procured these curiosities? You don't want to know. You've got a soft spot for treasure. All pleasant travels.
I guess let's shoot some rats. You know what? There we go. I just kind of feel bad about doing it, so I'm not going to do it. Rats, you're fine. This gentrifying shopkeeper will not have me run his errands.
Hands on a fine piece of kit. You don't want to pass up on this.
Okay, cool. I feel good about this.
The hell am I?
There you are. There's somebody else over here? I seem to remember. Guess not. Man, that is some scaffolding. Somebody learned their Boy Scout Boy Scout knots.
Not bad, right?
Yeah. Hit the ones that grab you. You can't parry that. What the hell? Oh, somebody throws dynamite in this one. That's right. God, the amount of supplies you have on New Game Plus just makes this, makes you forget how much of a slog it is to... I mean, slog in a good sense, right? To make it through a first time through. Is that a dynamite that didn't get lit? Oh. Well, don't stand right in front of the dynamite as it explodes. Oh, no, no, no! That's gonna kill me. Well, there we go. Yeah, nobody came out of that feeling good. I did not even see the thing. Okay, so... Yeah, no, you actually explode and you're just left in a little puff of blood. That man is about to ask you for a cigarette. But yeah, no, this is one thing, this is one of my few complaints about RE4 Remake, is that there are a lot of contextual prompts that the GameCube and PlayStation versions made a big deal out of signaling to you. So you got like the big, you know, on the GameCube version, you got the red big green button, little red button, and it flashes out on the screen real big when it's time to do a prompt, so you know that it's there. You know that the time has arrived. And there are many instances where a contextual prompt like that is really important to see, but it's really small because they've got a really minimalist HUD, and in most regards that's great, but, you know, doesn't always help you.
Alright.
And in this instance, knowing that the stick of dynamite was there would have been super useful. Case in point. Oh, this is gonna hurt. It also doesn't help that Leon is Leon doesn't control really well in closed spaces. grenade or something I can use to... Yeah, I do. Woo! Did not know that guy was there. No, 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 no! Dude, jump! There we go. He does. Oh, that's where there's some weird, don't know if I call them difficulty spikes, but there's some moments that catch me worse than others. And things like dynamites and contextual prompts, those have given me trouble across the my first playthrough, and apparently my second. Professional is going to be beastly. I mean, I've got so many healing items that I should kind of thank the people who are throwing dynamite, because they actually they actually clear out more enemies than I'm doing. What even happened there? Like, did like another dynamite get thrown in my path and I shot that piece of dynamite instead of the one that the guy was holding? Because my intention was to blow up the TNT that I had, and something else happened that left me a very confused Leon S. Kennedy. Ooh! Boy, are you down there? You are down there.
Next.
Should just be the guy who's up top left. Oh, maybe I got everyone. Nope, there we go. That's the death rattly grunt I've been listening for. Alright, I gotta erase this gate. I have no idea who is left, but I am fine leaving them behind to tell the tale. I also noticed that they, with the original RE4, they were able to sort of leverage the ongoing war on terror rhetoric. Oh, there you are. Goodbye. For their plot and to kind of give Sadler some motivation, and they've largely dropped that now in the remake. Evening, Dan. It's good to see you. How are you? One that fell from top? Okay. Because that was very confusing to me. I am still going, and matter of fact, I got a late start. My evening responsibilities ran long. Ah!
Not bad, right?
Remake is quite good. I mentioned this earlier, but I played the original. Its design is and my preferred route through it in weapons are that's burned into my brain at this point. So going through this, it's very cool to see how much attention to detail to the original's design they put, and how much of the original of the source material they really did rework into something fresh. Distinct from, I guess, like the difference that I'm drawing is that the RE2 and RE3 remakes kind of felt like modern replacements for their originals, probably because there is such a gap between the kind of gameplay that you see in the sort of like tank controlled, well, the fixed camera tank control Resident Evils. This feels less like a replacement and more of a parallel offering. The original RE4 feels a little dated in some ways because I think because when you have your gun raised, you are fixed in place rather than being able to move around Gears of War first-person style. But nonetheless, I think it feels modern enough that that it's accessible. It's accessible enough that they can resell it on, you know, a ton of different platforms. So yeah, so that is something that is different about this remake compared to the others. Aw. When you destroy the little Salazar bots, the little tiny little Salazar feet are left behind. Yes, exactly, Dan. My thought as well. Ah! Cool. Ah! I beg your pardon. Ah! All of y'all got boundary problems. I love it.
That was not easy.
That was cool. The dart exploded at the same time as the other, due to the explosion, not due to its own timer. That was neat. Yeah, Chainsaw Man is much scarier in this one. I am disappointed, I will say, I'm disappointed that they changed his name to Chainsaw Man instead of Dr. Salazar. I always found Dr. Salazar to be a very compelling and weird name, a very weirdly specific personality in the village to own and wield a chainsaw. And to have him now reduced to mere Chainsaw Man, to have his personality reduced to his function rather than his role in the community, breaks my heart. He's a doctor, for God's sake. Yeah, they're, the QTEs in this are action-based rather than situational. Oh, well. Like, this is one of the situations, regardless of what's going on in the village, I actually am the jerk in this scenario. But,
Not too shabby.
Someone has shown up their neighbors.
I can only hope that he died relieved. Anyway, yeah, so they're action, rather than sort of like set piece related. And I think they work quite well. As I mentioned earlier, the only problem that I have with them is that is really not with them themselves, but with the HUD around them. Yes, the oven with a single egg inside. Now this lets you know that they care about the source material. Yeah, no, it just needs bigger signaling. Excuse me. I mean, the man's accredited, for God's sake. You make it through med school, you deserve to wield a chainsaw like a maniac. Nothing says I have crippling student debt, and my professional salary has not caught up to inflation to help me pay it off, like swinging a chainsaw at a federal agent. Where is the... I think it's upstairs. There's a clue here to that lock that I need. Alright, crop, pig, babe. Oh, Dan, I wanted to reinforce my recommendation of Rosario Castellanos' Book of Lamentations. I am in the final stretch of that book. I think I'm in the last 20 pages, and it is extremely good. Extremely good. Recommend it highly. As a matter of fact, actually, I'm curious. What I am going to be in need of a fiction recommendation soon. I wonder if you could recommend something as a fellow reader. Is it? Is it? No. I need to rotate it this way. Okay, so it has to be on this side of it. Alright, so that's right. I just need to get it. There we go. The Master and Margarita? Bulgakov. Cool. What, when was it written? I'm curious. Much of the Russian literature that I've read is classic, and I would like to read some contemporary Russian literature sometime.
The blood has accepted the gift.
I like how they gave him his glass eye. I don't think you need his glass eye in this. Okay. Cool. That's that is more contemporary than Tolstoy and Dostoevsky. So, and also who did Fathers and Sons? Turgenev. There's a 60s, 70s science fiction writer who wrote about turning a dog into a man. I'm trying to remember the name of the book. I don't remember what it was, but it was quite good. It's very good satire. Excuse me. And I'll see if I can find it, pass that title along to you. But that's good. Thank you. I'll take a look at that. Platonov. I don't know Platonov. What time is it? 11:59. All right. let's check out the start of this chapter before calling it a night.
Umbrella? I should have left him in that bag to rot. Copy that. Making my way to the church. Condor 1. Out.
Oh, and Dan, should your interests go the way that mine have recently, as you might have noticed, I've become quite a fan of pro wrestling, and in particular Lucha Libre, and so I've been reading quite a bit about it in addition to watching quite a bit of it. And here's a book of essays that I think is very good for sort of like a thinking person's approach to it, and sort of understanding kind of the broader, the subtext to a lot of its storylines. It's called Steel Chair to the Head, The Pleasure and Pain of Professional Wrestling. And it's got a lot of very good stuff in here, some classic writing on pro wrestling from Roland Barthes. His essay on French pro wrestling in the early 20th century is very good. Heather Levi is an anthropologist who has done a lot of work on Lucha Libre, and a lot of immersive work, having trained with a former luchador herself as part of her field study. The Mexican aesthetic intellectual named, what is it? I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name. Carlos Monsivais, Monsivais, who has a strongly aestheticized understanding of Lucha Libre and wrestling in general, and also connecting that to Mexican cultural identity, late 20th century, is really good. And also the one that I'm reading currently, which is, what's this? Philip Serrano, which is about how Latin American wrestling sort of has been integrated and not integrated into the American scene. So a lot of really good stuff in there. So if your interests ever turn that way, I recommend that, as well as Heather Levi's work generally. Heart of a Dog, that's it. Thank you, Ren. The Foundation Pit. Foundation Pit, what a great name that is. It's a nice contradiction of terms. Yeah, Heart of a Dog is very good. It's kind of like a Island of Dr. Moreau, messing with nature and confusing identities of living things. What is a man? Kind of thing. No, Bart didn't write on Mexican wrestling. He wrote on French pro wrestling, but a lot of Mexican cultural commentators on Lucha Libre have leaned very heavily on him. He shows up quoted in almost all the writing that I've read in translation, and it is, I think you could consider it a foundational text to modern writing, especially aesthetic, on wrestling internationally. So it's very good. Yeah, well, I've been watching a lot of El Santo. One thing that I hope to present at the next stream is stills from El Santo and the Martian Invasion, which has some of the best storytelling through wrestling out of any of the ones that I've seen so far. Obviously, you want to make sure that your El Santo and your Blue Demon movies have a strong wrestling element to them, because that's what they do. But this actually uses some of the storytelling techniques of ringside of in-ring drama to tell its story. So it's very good. And also something I was doing some reading on this, and I realized one of the ways that I see El Santo, and to a lesser extent Blue Demon, sort of described to make him understandable outside of Mexican cinema, is that it's like Mexico's James Bond or Mexico's Batman. Did I hear the dog? I do hear the dog. There you are. Good boy. Yeah, you don't deserve that.
Take care of yourself, buddy.
Be free. But yeah, it's interesting because something that comes to mind is that the luchadors, it's different because like Batman comes from inherited wealth, super rich, has all those gadgets and everything, and so they establish that as sort of part of his myth. And James Bond, of course, has the coffers of the crown to support all of his gadgets and his connections and everything. El Santo and Blue Demon just, I mean, for all we know, like, their crime-fighting, police-aiding exploits are funded almost entirely through wrestling. Like, that's how they make their money. And that's how they finance their exploits, and I find that a very a very interesting difference between them. That this is not something they do because it's easy or convenient. It's not something they do necessarily because it's their job, because they don't seem to be getting paid for it. So yeah, so it's a different kettle of fish there. And yeah, Leon has a good heart. I think it's one of the things about Leon that no matter how jaded he gets from biohazard outbreaks, that's his thing. Now, Santo is great. We in this house are big fans of Blue Demon. Yes. Ah. Whew. I do. Part of it is the distraction of playing on stream, and part of it is that... Ah! Part of it is that they do a pretty good job of keeping up with the first game's sort of big deal, which is that enemies are smart and they surround you. Evening Viper, it's good to see you, man. How are you doing? Oh, I didn't notice this. They melodramatically put their sickles, their bloody sickles, up in a forbidding formation. That's great. Why would you do that? Who is it? Who is it? I don't want it. Whatever it is, I don't want it. I hear the music. I don't know what's going on. Is it a chainsaw? Because that sounds kind of like a chainsaw. Gotta be honest with you. Okay. Alright, I will make my goal for the end of the stream to get into the church. That'll put us in a good place. Okay, I don't think that's a chainsaw. I think it's just somebody with a really raspy voice. Somebody over here? Oh wow. I still have gold up here. That's something that I do like about the way that they do a lot of the areas in this. This is gold from the very first village encounter, and it's still here. So they kept its state from the last time I played here. And I think that's cool. That's right. Hey man, switch to menthols. Ha! Ha!
¿Qué coño? No puedo caminar.
Whew. Is there anybody else in here? I don't think so. Cool. All right. Let's get a typewriter and save this game. For God's sake. You have a good snaky life, Snake. It's really interesting how they have so many pictures of Sadler that you can just look at like this, and I don't think it's to any particular end. All the pictures of Sadler in the first game, I think, at least gave you, like, they were hiding gold or something.
Got some new wares, stranger. You're in for a treat.
And yeah, let's go and grab this. All right. Let's put this save down here, where I'm much less likely to override it. So, cool. I think that brings us to a pretty good stopping point for the night. Yeah, it's about 12:14, so that's a probably good time for me to start turning in. So, thank you everybody for coming out. Viper and Dan, it's awesome to see you as always. And Ren, great to meet you. I will be streaming again on Wednesday next week. Gonna do more of this, and hopefully starting a little bit earlier than tonight. So let's get this over there. Night Viper, always a pleasure.